Okay guys, it's ADC Melbourne here. I'm just going to do an oil change on the BA Falcon. So while I'm here, I'm also going to do a couple other things. So obviously there's the Roke filter, oil filter. I've got some oil. Now I'm going to try this out. It's a Newland product, so it's obviously very good. Air intake cleaner and foam. Now it probably works like some of those sea foams that you've seen available in America. So basically there's 4 stages to it. Throttle plate cleaning, inlet manifold cleaning, where the spark plugs go, and then the final cleaning, which is basically the same as part 2. So what we're going to do as well, I'm going to put some of this engine oil flush in, and that should clean out any gunk that's built up over time. And then when it's all over and done with, I'm going to put some stop leak. Now, you're probably going to say, I got a lot of Newland products here. Well, it's an Australian company. Newland have got a very good reputation, so let's use them then. And I've never had a bad problem. I've never had a bad thing about them. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is throttle plate cleaning. So I've got to remove the air intake hoses off the top there so I can clean the throttle plate. Now, for that, part of the thing it says when you remove the the inlet manifold cleaning, disconnect the vacuum cleaners from the inlet and start the engine. With the engine running at a fast flow, spray approximately half the can in through the vacuum line using the spray tube. Okay. Now this particular product, engine oil flush, you pour it in before you do the oil change, and you just let it idle or run. So it cleans out all the gunk and it pushes the oil and the cleaner through the system. So I'll get this in. We'll take the air hose off. Now for you guys that don't know, this is what we're going to do. Pour the oil in there. That's what we've got to clean. That's where the throttle plate is. So this has got to come off. That involves 2 hoses up there and that. And we've got 2 bolts up there. We've got to take that off. So I'll pour this in there first, and then we'll clean that. Okay, the oil filler cap's off. Oops. Oil filler cap's off. We've got the Newland oil flush. In she goes. Okay, well that's soaking in there before I start the engine. Unclip the air filter, clean the throttle out. Throttle plate, I should say. Now, all through this, the engine's supposed to be warm, so I've just driven it, so I know it's definitely warm. So, we've got the 2 bolts up here. They're both 10mm. You can see it's not going to take much. I'm not going to bore you with all this crap. Okay, guys, all that's off. There's the throttle plate, so we're going to give that a good clean out, and we'll wipe it all down. And then, as this is the, what's the word for it? That's where I'm going to spray the product into the inlet manifold vacuum as well. So first we'll clean that up. There's the foam, so you know what it looks like. So just let it soak for a couple of seconds. I'll just wipe it all down. And the next step is we're going to have to put half the can in there. Now what I'll do is I'll have to start the engine and get it revving a bit. So I'm just going to have to find something to put on the accelerator. Won't be a sec. Alrighty guys, there it is. As you can hear, it's running at a fast rev, which is what you're supposed to do. I've sprayed half the tin down there. And the reason why you've got to do it like that is the engine will stall if you don't. So I'll show you what I've done in the inside. This is if you're working alone. I've got a little tub there and I've got a bag full of spanners there just resting against the accelerator. You've got to allow it to go for 15 minutes, so it's been going for 2 minutes now. So between that and the cleaning, the oil flush, it should give the engine a good clean out. We'll see how it goes then afterwards. It says run it at a fast idler when you spray it in, obviously because it stalls. Now I've let it go. Now there's 2 options you can do. You can either let it soak for 5 minutes, and while you're doing that, being a BA Falcon, spark plugs are under there, and you've got to spray a little 2-second burst in each hole, which means you've got to remove this whole thing. So, seeing we've got to wait 5 minutes, let's get stuck into this, take this off and pull out all the spark plugs. Now there we go guys, the cover's off and all the spark plugs and coils have been removed. Now it says here, spray a 2-second burst into each spark plug hole. Right. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Wasn't that special to show you. I covered the newspaper. I tried to start it 3 times. That's done. Now we can put the spark plugs back in and we'll get on to phase 4 on the last stage, and then we can change the oil out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sparkies back in. I'll give the engine a bit of a test run. I won't bore you with all that. And then we'll get the cover back on, and then we'll put some more foam down there at high revs again, and then it's just a case of draining the oil and refilling. Okay, the engine's back for the last little thing, so there you go. Did you see it almost cut out? So it's obviously I need to put some more revs on it. Okay, we're back on with a lot more revs. Just going to pour the rest of the can down here. Okay, we're out of gun. Now, keep the engine running at a fast idle until all the remaining cleaner is purged from the exhaust system. So we'll just let it go. Now, apparently it's supposed to go white at the exhaust here. Now, there's the exhaust, nothing's happening. So, let it go. We'll put it all back together. Okay guys, changing the oil. Dead easy. There's the drainage plug there. There's the oil filter there. Now that's about a 15mm bolt on that. So I'm going to get stuck into that. I'm not going to bore you with me grunting and groaning, and we'll see how we go. Okay, there it is, draining out, nearly finished. It's on a slight angle here because of the jack. Now that's only because I can't get under the car with it thing and can't get the tub in. So what we'll do next is undo the filter and get that off, and I'll drop that jack down a bit so we can get it more level, so whatever other oil's in the car will drain out. Alright, now these filters are only supposed to be undone, you know, done up to a kind of a very strong hand strength. So as you can see, it didn't take much to undo it with a proper oil filter wrench, but tool I should say. So that means it's held on for 10,000. Let's get this up a bit. And there's the rest of it just pouring out. Even though I've got gloves on, guys, it's scorching hot. So I'm just going to drop the jack down a bit, let whatever other oil in here's run out, and we'll put it all back together. Now it stopped fairly much draining. Now what I've done was, before you take the drainage tray away, put the bolt back in so you don't have all the oil leaking all over the ground. Now I've had cars come back from mechanics and they've used the impact wrench to tighten up the drainage plug. It's crazy. All you got to do is tighten it by hand, tight enough so it's not going to come undone. Alrighty, so get under here. Nice 15mm. Hey, that's all you need. Nice and tight. Now that's where the oil filter goes. I'm just going to get a brand new one, brand new Ryco Z9 filter. There's the old crappy one down there on crown. Now all you got to do, dip your finger in there, put a bit of oil around here. This one looks like it's already oiled, so you may not even have to do that. But anyway, if it didn't have any oil on it, put your finger in the oil tub and put some oil around it, and then screw it back on by hand as tight as possible. Maybe use the oil filter wrench remover just a little bit, but nothing too tight. It should be fairly easy to come undone. Alrighty, there's the dipstick, literally empty. I'll just clean it off. Okay, cleaned it off, put it back in. There you go, bone dry. So again, like I said, we're going to put engine stop leak. It's Newland again. No, they're not sponsoring us, and I just seem to think they're a good product, and they're an Aussie product. So okay, I'm not going to show you me filling up the oil thing, but I use 10W40. Wherever you are in Australia or the world, you pick what suits your suitable conditions. There we go, guys. Excuse the water. I sprayed some degreaser on the side here where the oil spilt over, and I gave it a bit of clean down over there. I kept the engine running so the water will just steam off. Anyway, the whole process took about an hour and a half, 2 hours. A lot of it I just had to stop and do the filming, but you guys doing it at home wouldn't take that long. Alrighty guys, cheers, happy motoring.